Ascension is an old card game, but new to me, and I thought, hey, why not take on 3 hard AIs in your very first game? We're going to do that right now on Legendary Tactics. So I'm going to choose 3 hard AIs for my very first game. I thought, why not go all in? I've done the tutorial. Let's just give it a try and see how this goes. And the only downside sometimes when you're playing against AIs is there's really not a lot of interest when the others are playing their turn per se, but usually it's pretty quick, so it's not too bad. But you don't get any sort of table talk or player interaction that would otherwise keep you interested. So I got a reasonably. I like getting more runes off the top anyway as a typical start, obviously, because 1 militia isn't going to do you any good. And even if you get 2 militia in hand, it unfortunately means you can get a victory point, but at the cost of buying a potentially great 5-cost card. So yeah, the militia for me, anytime I play a game, same with Star Realms and so forth, anytime I can eliminate those 1 strength military attack cards, the better, because to me they're more useless in general than the runes are, even though they're essentially equivalent by a certain point in the game. You know, you want them all those basic starting cards you want out of your deck just to make your deck much more efficient. So I did buy some additional muscle with the heavy infantry, and that was just to make the most of any opportunities as far as taking out any of the say mid-strength creatures from the center row. And as yet, I mean, this is my first game, so I haven't really formed much of a strategy per se. See, there's a banish, but I don't typically banish cards this early on necessarily, but especially if I can get an extra combat strength to take out a card that's a little more powerful. But I don't really know the suits yet per se or anything. I haven't seen it enough. I think the blue cards seem to have a lot of card draw, which is something I find when you're starting a new game and you haven't played a lot of it. Card draw you can't go wrong with. That's always a strength. The cards like the Grand Design, that brown suit, seem to work especially well together. But I haven't figured out any of the combinations. And there you go, got rid of one of the militias, which is great. I had enough to take out that creature. And so I'm a little hesitant to buy the brown suits because I don't know how these work, but hey, why not? I'll see if maybe I can get a combo going with some constructs or whatever. So we'll figure that out. So this is my first deck, so it's going to be a bit of a mess. I don't have any sort of focus here yet. And for those experienced players watching this, I apologize for that, but I guess we all got to start somewhere. And if you have any suggestions on play in general or with this game specifically, please add your thoughts in the comments section. That's what it's there for, is to get a conversation going. And ultimately, this type of video is about encouraging people to play more games like Ascension and getting some new players interested and to expand the player base. So as it sits, I've got some strength coming up, 4 strength. So I'm hoping that there will be a reasonably decent monster to destroy in the middle row. I don't have enough to kill the Earth Tyrant, but I'm hoping that something turns up on my opponent's turn. Otherwise, it'll be 2 victory points from the cultists, and that's just what it'll have to be. And the Sea Tyrant turns up a little bit out of my depth. So it looks like it'll be a couple victory points there. And really not a lot to buy. I did buy some heavy infantry before, so I'll get a Mystic for now, and hope for a better draw the next time round. So we're seeing the, again, that brown construct there, and I just don't know how those all fit together. To me, that's the most, out of the gate, that's kind of the most confusing part, I guess you'd say. It's not really confusing, but it's just not knowing any of the synergies yet. It's something that you can only really learn through playing and really getting a sense of how these things interact. But if I have a choice to to buy up a brown card, I'm not going to say no, and see what it does in combination with my with what I've got already in that construct. So kind of not a great opportunity here. I'll pick up a heavy infantry and a victory point. Now I'm playing against the hard bots. I'm in second place as it sits. Doesn't mean that the just because they're difficult or the highest level bots doesn't mean that they're actually unbeatable. And again, my philosophy has always been, I've said this in many videos before, that the bots are there as a training tool to get you up to a level of skill where if you can easily defeat the hard AIs in any of these games, then you are in a position to play against some human players. And while you may not win, you can usually play competently enough, and that's great. Once again, one military strength short of getting that Earth Tyrant, and then one short of the Mephit as well, until that card popped up. So I guess we'll just have to destroy that one, and we'll trash that card just because I haven't really bought any of those of that color, so may as well ruin it for my opponents. That whole banishing a card from the center row, that's for me, even in games that I've played a lot, like Star Realms, a lot of times, I mean, sometimes it's obvious you want to take a high-powered card off the board if you notice your opponent building a deck in that with focusing on a particular suit. But honestly, sometimes I have no idea what to discard, because it's sometimes with these games, it doesn't hurt sometimes to mix and match a little bit. And if there's a particularly powerful card, it just happens to be of a suit you don't have a lot of, it can still work. So I'm always hesitant about banishing cards from the center row unless it's really obvious. But I'm very happy to banish cards from my discard pile, and certainly getting rid of the militia and the apprentices early on. I think that's just fairly basic play, but solid play. Do the same thing in Shards of Infinity or Star Realms. So yeah, a lot of the play, if you've played Star Realms, if you've played Shards of Infinity, a lot of this will carry over when you play Ascension. You'll instinctively, you may not know the cards yet, but you'll get the gameplay, and you'll be able to put a reasonably decent deck together, probably from the outset. Obviously you'll improve with more familiarity, but I think you'll do just fine. So if you haven't, then this is a great introduction to those other games. You can, if you love Ascension, hey, give Star Realms a try. Give Shards of Infinity a try. They're both great games as well. So I now find myself in third place here, and seem to be definitely falling behind. Although player 2 is well behind me. I'm not anticipating much of a threat there, but player 3 has jumped up to 23 victory points, which is pretty decent. There's only 21 left available now, only 18. So I have to start shifting towards more of an end game kind of stance here. And unfortunately, I'm not getting much help. I just have to get to buy heavy infantry and a couple victory points. So not very effective turns. And this is where my noobishness is coming into play, because I haven't built a lot of great combinations, obviously, in my deck. I'm leaning on other games, leaning on things like card draw and banishing the basic cards from my discard deck that is generally sound play in those games, and it will be here as well. But finding these combinations where you're getting these powerful attacks, you're getting a lot of runes to spend and buy the expensive cards, that's where you obviously want to be. So I'm banishing this. I don't know if this will matter all that much. I might have one more reshuffle. We'll see in this game. But here it's just trying to spend it on something that isn't heavy infantry and mystics. I'm just buying them up because I might as well. But I am a bit concerned. I'm 6 out of first right now. I'm now 7, and there's only 5 points left, so I'm probably only going to have one more turn here, and that is not that's not good. So I've got 4 attack coming up, 4 power, and 3 runes, neither of which are going to be really, really strong to do much with. Let's see what player 2 does. Buys a cultist, and it puts me in a bad spot, actually, because I'm only going to get 2 more victory points from the cultists. I can't waste those, but that depletes the victory point pool. So this is going to be, everyone else is going to get one last turn, and I'm of a mind that I want to go out big if I'm going to deplete the total. Oh, and actually, as it finished up, I ended up finishing 3rd, which is, again, I figured I would be finishing in not that great a standing, but at least, if nothing else, to demonstrate the gameplay. And I think this game has a lot to offer, and I really recommend you give it a try. Anyway, hope you got something out of this video, and we'll see you here next time on Legendary Tactics.